August 18th. And before we introduce our speaker today, we have a couple national holidays that I would be remiss without mentioning. It is National Fajita Day, or as I like to in my Midwest slang call it, Fajita Day. It is also National Ice Cream Pie Day. So in August, I can't think of better pie to have. And National Pinot Noir Day, or again, in my Midwest dialect, Pinot Noir. So however you like to enjoy it, go right ahead and do that. Our speaker today, Jason Jafris from Prudential, will be walking through Prudential's new business owner ebook. And I'm going to be directing the PowerPoint today as Jason lost internet because, well, it's Murphy's Law. So he's on by phone, so we don't get to see his face, but I'll turn my video off later so you don't have to look at mine either. So as I was saying, Jason will be going through Prudential's new business owner ebook. We'll review and discuss the questions to ask during different stages of a business life cycle. Also offer life insurance solutions that are appropriate for the state of business currently, the startup phase, growth phase, mature business phase, or transition phase. And I can tell you this is a widely underserved market. So if you can educate yourself in the phases of business and help business planning, it is a great opportunity. With that, I will hand it over to you, Jason.
Thank you, Brendan. And thank you, everybody, for joining today. As Brendan mentioned, I am Jason Jafris. I am the Regional Vice President for Prudential, covering the Great Lakes region. And Brendan, you did an awesome job of teeing that up. The topic today, the small business ebook. Our reason for putting this book together is to help producers serve a market that is greatly underserved. And a lot of the feedback we've gotten from producers regarding this marketplace is they're not sure how to engage business owners with life insurance solutions. One of the reasons that they're unable to do that is they just don't know the right questions to ask. They don't know how to determine the right coverage or the right insurance need based on where the business owner is in the phase of the business life cycle. And so we thought this ebook was a great resource for producers to use in helping identify where businesses are in the life cycle, and then what questions and opportunities exist during each life cycle. So what you're going to see today, I'll have Brendan flip through to the next page right there. Perfect. This is the table of contents, right? We're going to talk about the overall opportunity and then how to determine the stage. You know, what questions do you ask to find out where they are in that business life cycle? And then what opportunities exist in each of the 4 stages that we've identified: the startup stage, the growth stage, mature, and transition. And then at the end, we're going to talk about how to take action. So the first thing we're going to look at is the opportunity. And you guys have probably seen these statistics many times, right? There's 30.2 million small businesses in the US. They're all going to experience growth, especially coming out of the pandemic. Most of them that are still there are now in that growth phase in some way, shape, or form. We saw that 4.4 million companies were started in 2020. That's a 27% increase from 2019. And what are the, you see, it's 3 quadrants. The 3 sections you see here, there's executive benefits, there's retirement planning, and then there's wealth transfer. All 3 of these opportunities exist within these small businesses. It's determining what stage they're in and when to identify those opportunities. Next page. So determining the stage, right? Some of the questions that you can ask just to get started. These are very basic, simple, easy questions that can come up in conversation. You know, how many years have you been in business? How's your cash flow? When are you thinking of retiring? What are your plans for expansion? What are your plans for transition? Are you coming close to the retirement age? Those are 5 or 6 simple questions that can really help you determine phase. Are they mature? Have they been around a long time and they're really just looking at maybe new opportunities, but really growing their core business? Or is the business owner getting to the point where they're ready to transition to the next generation or the next owner? What are some opportunities that exist there? But these simple questions will really help you. It might not nail it down 100% in the right direction of where that business is. Next slide. So the startup stage, right? This is typically there's a very short-term outlook. Cash is not something that's readily available. They're really just getting started, right? They have maybe some owner becomes disabled or dies. What happens to that business? What about their personal property as collateral for a business loan? Do they have enough personal property? Maybe life insurance is a way that they can secure that business loan. Next page. So really for the startup phase, we're really looking at protection of the business owner. What happens if he were to die? They're putting the time and effort in. That time and effort has value. We're trying to quantify that value with life insurance. But it also does protect, from a business loan perspective, protection to pay back that loan if anything does happen.
Jason, your audio is.
So from the screen, have you taken any steps to help protect? Is there anything? Are they impacted if not good? Can you hear me?
Yes, we can hear you now. I mean, it's good, and then sometimes it just goes very slow. But I guess we're good right now. I don't know if you can walk to a window or something, if that'll help. I know.
Is that better?
Yeah, we're good right now. Just keep going.
Okay.
Sorry.
Okay. So from a startup perspective, it's with anybody who's looking at life insurance. It's protection of family and possibly securing a business loan. And from this ebook, you can see there's some links to some marketing material, what every consumer should know about life insurance, and then buy-sell agreements. So there's marketing material that's specifically attached to each of these sections of the business cycle. If we go to the next screen, the growth stage, this is where they're seeing increased demand for their goods and services. They're possibly looking for other leaders to help grow the business. They're looking for diversity from their core business. And so some of the risks that they have, again, business loans. Those are risks. Those are things that life insurance can help secure, but also protecting against the death or a loss of a key employee. If there's someone that's integral to the growth of the business, maybe an account director or something of that nature, having protection if something were to happen to them to help the business sustain that loss going forward. The next page is, again, some of our conversation starters. Have you done anything to ensure that your continuation of your business will happen after death? Who are some of your key employees? If something were to happen to them, how would that impact your business? You can talk about if a key employee were to depart to another competitor, how would that impact your business, and look at possible employee benefits. This is a great question to always ask too. Are you concerned about being in business with your co-owner's spouse? A lot of business owners have never heard that question before. But it's a great question to ask, because if I'm in business with Brendan and I pass away, Brendan's now in business with my wife because my shares are passing there. How does that impact the business? Is there a buy-sell in place or an agreement where those shares come over to Brendan? That's a simple, easy question to ask. And oftentimes that's how we uncover those buy-sell and key person opportunities. Moving on to the mature stage. This is obviously a company that's been around much longer. Cash flow is stable. You can see profits that are pretty stable year over year. They're looking to manage maybe employee retention costs and maybe exploring exit strategies. What risks do they have? Potentially no retirement plan, potentially no succession plan. And again, protection of key executives. How valuable is the business if some of the key executives start to move on and do other startup things or go to a competitor. Next page or next slide is, again, those conversation starters. Who are your key employees? What would happen if they left or if they died or became disabled? Are you concerned about being in business with your co-owner spouse? Another question, that question pops up again. And then another great one to ask is, do you know the value of your business? And there's some marketing material that's in here as well that talks about key person insurance, split dollar, executive bonus, even LIRP designs, life insurance, retirement planning. I will throw this out there too. I know many of you know other carriers that offer informal business valuations. Prudential does that as well. If you're interested in finding out more about how our process works, just please contact Brendan, and we can provide you with the materials that would be needed, but we can put together a 4-page informal valuation that describes the value of the business, which helps put things in a greater perspective. And then the last stage is that transition stage, right? This is now we're looking at transitioning the business to the next owner, the next, et cetera. We're planning for that next phase. We want to take care of the employees while we're exiting from their current position. So the risk that's there is if they don't have an exit strategy, they need to think of one, and insurance can help play a part with that. One of the other risks that come into play is if they have any children that are in the business and children that are not in the business, there can be an unequal distribution of assets to the children if anything were to happen. And life insurance, again, can help create equalization in that role. If the daughter is going to take over the business 100%, the son is working somewhere else in another state. If that big, give it to your son who's not in the business. Life insurance can help create some equalization there. The conversation starters. One of the big ones is, what's your walk through
there you go
number? You know, what do you see as the value of your business, and what are you looking to get for it? What do you think? Where's your retirement income coming from? I'll try to wrap this up here at the end, just with some of the take action. I apologize. Actions perspective. I'm hoping that each of you can get a copy of this ebook and just kind of look at things and see and just get familiar with the different phases and the different questions to ask the small businesses. Try to group your small business clients into one of these categories and set up those meetings to talk with them about the questions that we've kind of put on paper here. You'll probably find some other additional questions that you can ask. But then be prepared to give them some information about the business strategies. We've linked a lot of the marketing material into each of the phases to have ready and available for when you're meeting with those businesses. That way, if you've identified it, you can now provide them with the material and discuss the actual solution and concept. Work with centers of influence, obviously, to open up different and additional doors to other business owners. Really, again, this ebook was put together mainly to help producers reach out to an underserved market. It really is the largest marketplace out there that we still seem to have a hard time penetrating. And with an ebook like this, we're hoping to provide just enough education material to get you comfortable to start taking steps toward having these conversations with business owners. So apologize for the technical difficulties. Hopefully enough of my conversation came through. Brendan, if there are any questions at all after this call, I'm certainly happy to take them or provide any additional material.
Thank you, Jason. We have this ebook posted on our blog. Danielle put a link out there. I picked a number for you, Jason, just because I didn't want to ask a question and have you not have that. Our winner today is Chris Hager. If I pronounced that incorrectly, I apologize. As I've already illustrated, I don't know how to say words correctly, so that goes with names as well. I also want to make sure that everybody is heard and is aware. Next week, we'll be holding an exclusive 1-hour brew with guest speaker Susan Johnson-Drenth. Susan is the only certified elder law attorney in North Dakota and has been named a Great Plains super lawyer the past 6 years for exhibiting excellence in her areas of expertise. Susan will review how you can help get your client ready for Medicaid, how to maximize the allowable income and assets for your client, how to accelerate eligibility, and much more. Susan has worked closely with many of E4's clients, and we highly value her expertise and dedication to every case. This is definitely a brew you don't want to miss. If you're on our email list, be sure to watch for that calendar invite going out later today, or you can also download that from our blog. Any questions for Jason or anybody else while we're here? Otherwise, thank you all for attending. We will see you next week.